keep the conversation going.
Well, this
Okay.
changes everything now that I know that she's Hungarian.
Well, I was born in Budapest. I was there till I was 6. Then I lived in Vienna for 2 years. So my second language was German. And then we moved to Montreal. So my third language was English and French.
I love Montreal. I used to have an office out in Montreal by the Carry
En français?
before the market collapsed. I never lived there, but I know so many people out there that we decided when we had our first mortgage operation and we needed to expand a branch. I opened one out there because the guys out there are just incredible. They're East Coast mentality. They're hustlers. They're entrepreneurs by nature. So it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, from Montreal, we went to New York for a year and then we came to LA. And I'm not even an army brat, but I'm just a brat.
That's great. That's 4 languages. I don't, it's
I
four
like speak
languages.
Spanish too.
Oh boy.
All right, we are streaming. We are live, and I guess we can get started. So, Chuck, why don't you introduce our incredible guest today?
Well, we've got the CEO of the Rich Group, Anita Rich, top 3% nationwide, super producer Anita Rich, 4 language speaking Anita Rich. With
Hello, hello. Excited to be with you today.
so
Thank you.
great having
Thank you for taking the time. We know how busy you are, and so it doesn't go unnoticed that you would actually take the time out of your day in the middle of the day, in the middle of a booming market. So thank you very much for that.
All right,
And I guess how we would maybe like to start is to hear your story because I'm sure it's incredible. How did you even get into real estate?
wow, most of the time when you do these things, they give you questions in advance so you could prepare, but not you guys.
No, we're special.
So 40 years ago, I had a liquor store. I was 9. I had a liquor store with my husband at the time, and uh, my accountant said you have to buy a house. So we met this realtor. His name is Larry O'Rourke. He's still alive today. And he took me out to look at houses. I called 3 or 4 girlfriends and I said, I found a house. It's not for me, it's for you. And before I even bought my house, I gave him 4 referrals. And he immediately said, you got to be in real estate. So long story short, the next thing I knew is I was in real estate. And I've only been with like 3 companies. It started out with Larry O'Rourke, who then sold to Merrill Lynch, who was bought by Fred Sands, who was bought by Coldwell Banker, John Arrow. So I've been through all of those. I didn't change, the companies did. I was with Coldwell Banker for 25 years. Then I was with Keller Williams. And now for almost 2 years, I've been with Compass. And this is going to be my last stop, I promise. So I just started because, I loved houses and I still do. And, I was also a training director for Coldwell Banker. And when people would say, oh, I love people, I'd say, yeah, until you get a client. But the bottom line is I'm very interested in doing well when I'm trusted. I'm originally a refugee from Budapest, Hungary. And so when you trust me with the biggest investment of your life, it means something to me. And now I've been doing it for so long, I kind of can do it with one hand tied behind my back. I work only referrals, and I still, to this day, I know I should find something better to do with my life, but I love this business. I love the industry. I love the energy. I love it all.
Amazing. Amazing.
So do you remember your first deal? How you got your first deal?
So do you want to, well, you won't believe this because you know what? Somebody heard me say this somewhere and I've heard it all over town, but this is a true story. 40 years ago, I got a little office in Beverly Hills. They gave me a desk. They gave me one of those name writers, where they slide your name in and out in case you don't last. The stand stays, but the name gets thrown away and a new name's put in. Right. They got me one of those. They gave me a phone. I don't remember if they gave me paper, but I know they gave me a pen and they said, start calling. And I said, start calling who? Whoever you know. Well, I don't know anybody. I was just fairly young. And they said, well, we don't care. Call your mother, call somebody. You have to get a listing and then we'll show you what to do. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is how it's going to work. So I called Larry and I said, this is ridiculous. I can't do this. He goes, just start calling people, you'll be surprised. I literally called my mother And I'm not even kidding. And I said, Mom, you have to sell your house. Why? I said, because you live off of Laurel Canyon and the Donnas. You told me you don't like being near Laurel Canyon. She goes, that was 10 years ago. I said, Mom, I'm going to get fired. I already have a nameplate and, I've got to get a deal. So she said, well, I'm not selling my house. But within a week, she found a friend who was selling a house. And hence, the power of referrals made a lot of sense to me. And that's how I got my first listing.
Awesome. That's a great story.
True one, too.
I like that. I probably shouldn't say this, but I have to share this with you guys. I saw yesterday, I don't know if you guys follow the Broke Agent on Instagram, but I think everybody should because he's got the funniest stuff ever. And he had this kind of like a meme thing where he says, when you find out that someone listed their house with not with you because they ended up listing it with somebody that's their friend or family member, and it's hard for you to cope with it because this person's your mom. Like, why wouldn't she list it with you? And this guy has like the best content ever. So whoever's watching Broke Agent, watch it.
Yay.
So Anita, question for you: with everything that's happening here with the market and COVID, so far everything that anybody predicted has been the complete opposite, right? We thought that the market was going to collapse, and it started booming instead. Rates have gone to an all-time low when we started seeing them climb, and everybody said that was the end of it. Rates are now going to shoot up. So nobody really knew what was going to happen. Do you see now maybe a little bit more indication as to where we might be in 6 months or 12 months? Because that's like the biggest question I get all the time is, should I wait, right? Should I wait? Is there going to be a collapse? What's happening here in the next 6 months, in your opinion?
So here's the deal. If I really, really, really had the right answer to that, I probably wouldn't be fortunate enough to be talking to you now. I'd be somewhere making gazillion dollars on that information. However, based on exactly what you said, this has been one of my biggest commission years, probably since I listed Kevin Costner's house. Like, seriously, it has been, and I think I'm like third in the office. And, I got some big heavy hitters in my office. And it really became something that I started reaching out to all the people I know for no other reason but to say, hey, are you okay? I bought 100 masks. And I bought sanitizers and I got gloves. And I said, I have whatever you want. I'll put on a zoot suit. I'll come to your house, put them all in bags. What can I do to help you during this time? Do you know somebody that needs a meal picked up? And I wish I could say to you that, that's what brought the business on. But it was like everybody was saying, we've only been home a month. Our house is too small. Our house is too big. I don't have any breathing space. I have to do my backyard. I want to be outside. I can't be in the street. So there are so many things that happened as a result of COVID. And I think Brian Buffini, who's a coaching company I've been with for a long time, always said, garbage in, garbage out. So I really worked hard to be around people who weren't going to look at the negative sides of life. Now, I've also been around the block long enough to know that you also have to be real. And the reality is this: it's a seller's market. People are not quite sure what they want to do. They're moving closer to work. They want more outdoor space. There's so much going on right now that if you ever thought of going somewhere or doing something in your life, I think COVID taught us a little bit of a way to differentiate what's really, really important in life. And I think what's really important in life, at least for me, is family, health, and I love money. I'm not embarrassed to say I love what money can do and what money can buy and pay for vacations and everything else. So the bottom line is, what's going to happen in the next 6 months? Who cares? Where do you want to be in the next 6 months? I just thought of that. That's great. Okay, so
I love that answer, and it's true. The very successful producers tend to say the same exact thing. Who cares? I am living in the moment. I am taking advantage of the opportunities available now. And I love that you said that you use the opportunity to make a connection again with your database, with your clients, and just reach out and check in. And really, that's the best thing that you can do as an advisor, as somebody that they seek for any kind of mentorship, is just to reach out and truly show that you care. And at the end of the day, the success is the byproduct of the service that you give. So I think that
Absolutely.
you're a testament to that. Has anything positive come out of COVID for your business that maybe surprised you?
Yes, multiple offers. Now, that's not new, but I always used to think that I was really good at evaluating and pricing homes. I would go the extra mile to really figure out what I could grab out of a house, of why the public would pay a little bit more for it. And I was known for getting either list price or above list price, because I never really, not that I never was, I'm not a greedy person. So I always say, you bought it for this, you enjoyed it, you lived in it, you invested this. And if you make this, and now you're making 40% on your investment, is there anything wrong with that? And maybe the karma of paying it forward, that somebody else is going to get a terrific house, maybe just a little time, a couple of percent less than what you wanted to sell it for, and we'll have that same luck. So I think what's happening is people are evaluating a little differently. A year ago, if we had the same conversation, everybody was, well, if I move in, how much am I going to make on this house in 2 years? It really wasn't any pride of ownership. It really was a lot more about, what am I going to make on this house? What is this house really worth? What can I drag out of the seller? So it's a whole different conversation. Now it's, what am I going to do every day when I wake up? Where does the sun come through? I think our values have finally become a little bit more finite. I think we're finally looking at things that matter.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's come out of it, that I walk into someone's house who wants to sell with a different viewpoint. And B, I find that they're looking at their returns a little differently as well. So I think that all of our running around, nobody ever had time for anybody. If I would say to you, let's go grab a cup of coffee. No, I have coffee in my car. I'm going to meet you somewhere, sit down and have a cup of coffee. But I just did that today. And I looked at this person I was having coffee with, and I said, I've really liked you for many years. I've never reached out because I thought I didn't have time. I think I've discovered what time really is.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are just like you said, it's become more fine-tuned with seeing what's really important.
Yeah.
Literally going outside and getting some fresh air is like a luxury for a lot of people. It used to be something you just take for granted. And people living, maybe in apartment buildings that don't have like a balcony, it's a thing. That's why this came out of nowhere, where everyone thought the market was going to crash, but in reality, everybody's just upgrading their own living situations. Somebody
Totally.
without a pool will buy something with a pool. Yeah.
My apologies. People are saying, why do I have 5 bedrooms? What do I need 5 bedrooms for? And if I got $150,000 more for my house because I have the 5 bedroom versus the 3 bedroom or 2 in a den I'd be happy with, what could I do with that money?
Right.
So I think it's really how to stop and take a beat.
So a lot of the statistics show that 20%, I think it's even less than this, but 20% of all agents do about 80% of the production, right? And that's the going number that everybody talks about. But what people maybe don't talk about is, how do we help more people get into that 20%? There's agents that have been doing this for a year and are struggling, and there's agents that have been doing this for 10 years and are struggling. And then you see, new people get in the market that are just killing it, right? And they're able to brand themselves really well. What easy tips, because there's obviously this grand scheme of of things that you can offer, but what are some easy tips that you can give either a newer agent or just a struggling agent to really get out there and be a little bit more consistent in finding and building their brand?
Well, you've kind of hit something right there. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is doing the same thing, simple things with such consistency that it becomes extraordinary. So that's the main word. Also, I think the thing that is really important is to have a plan. I find agents who've been around for 20, 25 years are really scared to go back to the basics. And one of the reasons after all these years that I still have a coach, having been a coach myself, is because sometimes you just need somebody to pull you back to the ABCs. So real quick, if you're a brand new agent, call everybody you know, and it doesn't matter if they live in a $1,100 a month apartment. They know people. And it's been an old saying that people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And it's really, really true. I really give a darn. And I have people call me 10 years later to say, you sold my parents a house and you sold their house when they were really in a bad way. And I always promised myself as a 15-year-old kid that I was going to call you when I grew up. And here I am, 25, I want you to help me because I never forgot what you did for them. And it's that kind of stuff. Yes, money is really important. I like to have meals with food on them. I like to have food with my meals. See, I told you English is my third language. But the bottom line is that call people and say, who do you know that I could help? There are so many people that are going to be facing either foreclosure or something really difficult that you don't even know about because they don't want to talk to all those people pounding on their door and strangers. And a warm entry and a warm introduction always trumps anything else. So if you've been around like I have been for a long time, I literally did that. I said, I'm going to be on your street Thursday between 2 and 3. Pick a time. I give you maximum of 5 minutes. I'm not coming in. I'm not going to give you a hug, but you can have all or part of what's in my basket, Little Red Riding Hood. I've got masks, I've got booties, I've got gloves, I've got sterilizers, hand sanitizers. What do you want? I have discounts for different restaurants. What do you want? What do you need? Because I'm not only here when I want you to give me referrals, although I'm never too busy for any of your referrals, old Buffini line, but I'm really here because I care and I want to help. And I just think it hit the spot.
I love that. I love
So
that.
we have a
Sorry, that we were saying that people, would you say care that you know that you care?
People
right?
don't care what you know until they know that you care.
I love that. That is really good.
I never talk about I'm number 1 and I'm number 3 and I'm number 7 because who cares? Does that pay my mortgage? No.
Right.
But if I say you have a room to rent, you have a 5-bedroom house, you've got a guest room, let me get you $1,000 a month. I know you never thought about it before, but your husband retired and you got laid off. And you've got a $2,500 mortgage that you're having a hard time meeting. What if I got you $1,000 of that and you wouldn't even see the person and they'd be like, oh, well, we never thought of it. I said, no, you did. You thought of it, but you thought, nope, I'm not going to do that. But why not now?
Yeah.
So Anita, we have somebody on Facebook, Mickey. He's advertising expert. He does branding for a lot of people, and he has a question. He wrote on here, many agents, primary approach to their marketing was door to door. Obviously now it's more challenging. Do you have any suggestions for lead generation outside of door to door, but that still provide that personal approach?
Well, you could do door to door with my approach. You could actually make it funny, put on a hat, put on a mask, gloves, and have the booties in your hand and say, I would wear these if I came into your house, which I'm not going to. But who do you know that would like to buy or sell in our neighborhood? That's number 1. Number 2, if you have a listing, I still tell them that I have appointment only in 15-minute intervals. And I will be there, and let me know when you'd like to have your personal showing, and I will drop that off at their door with a pen, with the lollipop, with usually not edibles, but something that would be fun, with a puzzle, with a Sudoku booklet, something like that. So I still encourage people, if you don't have a lot of business, go door to door. People are starving for human contact.
That's pretty interesting. And also, you can make it fun and you can make it funny and be that extra and put on a freaking hazmat suit and walk around. People will not forget you.
You know that, Chuck. I'm a kook, and if I can't have fun, the minute I stop having fun, I'm going to stop working. But
Yeah.
I do really still to this day revel in the fact that I can help somebody with such a major decision. I feel like I'm good at what I do. I know I'm brutally honest, which you either love or hate. This kind of, it's black and white. There's no gray. If you don't want to hear the truth, you're going to hate me. But the bottom line is, if you want some honest advice, when I go to the doctor, I really don't want him to tell me everything is fine if it isn't so. And why would I live my life giving service to the public any other way?
Yeah, it's a good point.
You're pretty honest too, so you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm pretty honest, but I've got this thing where I'm non-confrontational. So if someone's got a completely, I know we were talking about opinions earlier, but if someone tells me, hey, I am whatever, and I disagree with that, I evaluate them, I assess them, like, I'm not going to teach this person new ways. Okay, we can agree to disagree.
So I was accused, I have 3 daughters, and I've been accused in my lifetime of what they call unsolicited advice. So now if I care about you and you're doing something or you're thinking of taking something on, I will say, Chuck, is it okay if I give you my opinion on that? And honest to goodness, if you say, no, not really, I'll say, okay, I'll table that thought. If you change your mind, let me know. Because I don't spend a lot of time and energy on your life and your problems. I'm so happy taking care of mine. But I really do have a good idea that you might want to hear. And we're all curious human beings. And you'd probably say to me, all right, what is it? But I ask first. I never used to. I just used to be like, like, oh, you should do this. And I don't do that anymore. And I'm so happy I'm going to leave this world with one less bad habit.
It's so important to find those strategies, because in many cases it's not what we say, it's how we say it, and that right there just gives the permission to go ahead and really give the advice that maybe otherwise would have been taken defensively, and you just kind of give yourself the openness to share with them once they give you that permission. So I love that tip. I'm going to actually steal that from you.
I wish you would. That's the whole thing behind it, though. If you started to tell me that I should never really wear whatever color, and if you go, I really have to tell you, like, I hate that lipstick on you, I would totally shut down, and I'd probably wear it for the next 7 days just because I could. But if you would say, can I make a suggestion? And what if you wore like a little bit of a different color lipstick? I'd be like, oh, thank you. Thank you for caring. It's not just, and it's obviously, it's not what is said to you, it's how you react to what is said to you. But you can react in a much softer way when you're not interpreting something as an attack. And I think that's another thing, just real quick. Take all the old stuff you've ever heard about real estate, like buyers are liars and, whatever, take it and throw it away. It's all new games now. It's all new set of rules. Give a crap, know your craft, and go and do the very best you can, and the business will follow. Do stuff, keep busy, and the business will follow. And don't ever let it come out of your mouth, there's no business for me. Because why are some people, even in this economy, making 3-4 million in commission a year? Because it's there and you could have it. How badly do you want it? And what are you willing or not willing to do? That is the big question.
Yeah.
So true. So true. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wasn't sure if I should say anything, but I absolutely do love that lipstick on you. It looks incredible.
My husband hates me in red lipstick, but I did a radio
That's
Zoom
why
thing.
you do it.
Well, I got to tell you, I was wearing like something really light and it looked faded. I don't have fake lips, so they're not like this. And so I just thought, okay, I'll bring it out with lipstick. And then I said, oh, that's horrible. I look all washed out. So that's really funny.
By the way, when I saw that you were doing the radio show, I said, we got to have her. Like, she's the personality, the experience, the charisma, like she's the package. So I knew
You humble me. You humble me.
So I
Um,
want to ask you about partnerships, right? In our business, I come from a lending background. You're obviously in the real estate background. Partnerships are so crucial, right? And we're constantly looking for ways to develop partnerships, whether it's lenders, escrow companies, title reps, whatever the case may be. How important are partnerships to you? And then how do you pick your partners? What's important to you in a partner?
So, as part of the Buffini team and the coaching group, I have people everywhere. Partnerships are very, very important to me because, I keep coming up with these lines, but this is how I learned English. You're only as strong as your weakest link, right? You got a weak partner, you're, SOL. So they're very important to me. How do I pick them? I pick them with certain values. Some of the values I have and I own, and some of them I'm striving to have or be. So integrity and honesty are really, really important. If you say to me, let me be honest with you, I'm probably going to end the conversation. If you say, let me be candid with you, that's a whole different ballgame. So how you choose your words, who you are. I've been so-called romanced a lot because people want my business. I want to know that you want to know something about me. I want you to ask me what kind of clients I service. What's the most important thing if I give you a client? I don't want money back. I don't want money under the table. I don't need the fancy dinners or the sport tickets. I want to know that my client calls me back and says, oh my goodness, these lenders took care of me. And before we went on the air, Chuck said to me that my assistant was, so Julian, if you're watching, because what speaks louder than that? That my assistant, who really, really cares about my business and has my back 24/7, she works 5 days a week, she's available to me 7 days a week. Be that to me. If I call you on a Sunday, then say, you know what, I'm with the family now, 7:30 tonight, I'll call you back. Because for whatever reason, if I ever call you on a Sunday, it was that important to me. Otherwise, I would be a lot more polite. So that's what matters to me in partnerships.
So we're streaming on Facebook, we're streaming on YouTube, and we're here live on Zoom. And Julian just commented on YouTube that you're the best boss ever.
Oh my God. Okay, well, it's a love fest. You're not getting a raise this month.
She just took it back. No, I'm kidding. Oh. All right, Chuck, any other questions?
Like family. I treat the partners and I treat my staff and I treat my colleagues who I work with like family. And sometimes people call me from all different companies and they say, can you partner up with me on a deal? And what's nice is I can honestly say, yes, I can. Because sometimes they just want my experience and my expertise. And I always learn. Don't you feel that way when you're teaching something, you always learn?
Absolutely. It's why we decided to do this show, really. It's not for any specific reason other than creating an opportunity for people to collaborate and for us to grow and learn from the best of the best and to be able to, give some of our time. We're the little guys in the industry, but we wanted to be able to give our some of our time back and to create some kind of a platform to let people share. So that was very important to us. And I love that you say that, and we can tell, just by the way you speak, just by the way you respond to certain questions, we can tell that you are an incredible boss, and anybody working with you is probably very lucky and privileged.
Julian. Don't you? And you know what? And I just have to correct you. You're not a little guy because I can sell houses all day long. I can list houses. I can sell buyers. If you can't deliver alone, I'm dead. I lost a client. I lost all the future referrals. So to me, you're not a little guy. You're it. You're it. Right. If my lenders can't deliver, I'm dead.
Well, that's the importance of a good partnership. I will take that to heart. I won't say that again.
I'd like to jump in here for a second and echo what Lior was saying. We don't do this for anything except just like giving back and creating the content and the community. We started this because we're all quarantined initially, but we do this just because this is like the thing for us to do. It's once a week. We bring a different expert. We're able to align ourselves with different experts. I'll give you an example. We had someone who was a KTLA and ABC, CBS, NBC, a correspondent, news anchor, turned realtor. Okay. And, we had him on, we had a great talk, and then one thing led to another. And now I'm chatting with him, with his KTLA producer about potentially doing this in like a little segment on KTLA. That came out of nowhere. And, it wasn't the attention, hey, let's get something out of it. It was just like, that's what happens when you get together. We had another gentleman who's the president of the Los Angeles Real Estate Investors Club, who reached out to me yesterday and said, hey, why don't you send all of your off-market stuff to my 41,000 members in LA? I was like, done, let's do it. So now we're doing every Friday, off-market Fridays. So there's always good stuff that come out of it, and we enjoy it, and it's good fun. That's why I was telling you, it's like very business casual, very, fun. So into my next question, and this is a really important one, because I know you're opinionated. Without getting,
I'm definitely voting, but I'm not telling you for who.
Good, because that's my question is, without getting political, we're definitely not getting political on this show. What does election year mean to you in regards to real estate? Does it make any difference that it's an election year? Is this something that you can use to push someone to sell, to push someone to buy?
So I try not to use the world as the place where I get my tools, unless it's to a benefit to the seller or buyer. So this year, depending on who you talk to, and I have people on both sides of the fence, and I'm fascinated that we could look at the same information and interpret it not 2 ways, but 22 ways.
Yeah.
So what saddens me is that we're not even willing to give the other person an opportunity to share how they feel about something without being ready to slice their throat. And I'm not even exaggerating 1 iota. There is no room for that. And I think that in the midst of COVID, and regardless of who you're going to vote for, we really need to hold on to this thing about what matters and family a little bit more. So all that being said, I think it's going to be the same thing for me as what I've leaned on in the past 40 years. So for example, there were years there were tons of divorces. I went to every attorney I could find and I said, look, I am a woman of many hats. I don't have to agree with the wife. I don't have to agree with the husband. I could focus on the real estate part and please all parties. Interview me for your deals. I look for what's called the need. So depending on what's going to happen, if God forbid the economy gets really insane, upside down, then I'm going to help as much as I possibly can to those people that want to sell their houses. My company has something called the concierge, where they will stage the house, fix up the house. I'm not trying to plug that. I know other companies have done it as well. But a lot of people have no idea that you could get a lot of stuff done and only pay out of escrow. So I will be looking for as large a platform to share information with. So I think that whoever comes out victorious in this election will have some pros and cons for real estate. Whatever's a pro, I don't have to address, but whatever's a negative, I'm going to do the little bit I can with my little voice and my little group of people to see what we could do to help, because that's what I'm kind of all about. Because not everybody has the time. You know, I get to meet people who other people don't get a chance to meet. That's why this program that you're doing is so wonderful, because it allows people to hear things and to meet other people that they would just maybe not meet on a regular basis. And one day I want to talk to you, because I'd like to do something with guiding women on how to live a life and be a successful realtor. And it won't just be for real estate, it'll be for anything. So we'll talk later.
We
But
can,
that's what I
by the
think.
way,
Look for
we
the
can
need.
definitely, sorry, we can definitely touch on that again, because we did have, she was the president of the Women's Council of Realtors in California. And that's definitely someone you can connect with and merge that passion and help people, because just like you said, when it comes from a place of love and a place of good intentions, good stuff comes out.
I agree.
Yep, absolutely. We have one
I'm a
more Facebook
connector.
question.
I'm a connector. Facebook, yes.
Facebook question. What is the best tip you can give a first-time buyer?
First time buyer. Interview 3 to 4 realtors before you think you know everything and go online. Decide who you are. If you want somebody really soft, don't ever call anyone like me. I'm loud and boisterous and high energy. Decide who you are. Decide what kind of person you want. Really go through that, because I can tell you that the difference that people like myself and all other people who've been in the business at least 10 or 15 years, we have information that you can't learn or buy or look on the internet. So find somebody who you really, really care about. Go to a few different areas and decide what area you want to live in. If you don't know, ask the different realtors. What are the up and coming areas? I sold in Echo Park 10 years ago, and now look at it. You can't touch it. So get somebody who really knows, mainly get somebody who really cares, and call you guys to get pre-approved. Don't think it doesn't make a difference, because if you go and fall in love with an $800,000 house and all you can afford is $675,000, there won't be a realtor on the planet who'll make you happy. So really get informed, get educated. Not just what you read, but find people who will educate you because they care about you knowing. So first-time home buyers, don't wait any longer. I say money's free. Now that's because I worked when it was 12, 14, 16%. Can you imagine me selling homes where the interest rate was 16%? No exaggeration. I've got the files to show you.
I believe you. I heard about the 2020 loans, they used to call them. 20% interest rate, 20 points.
I mean, seriously, money's free. There's still properties to buy. If you can't afford the home of your dreams, buy a condo. You know, you only are going to know what you want in a property after you lived in one.
You know what? I love that you say that, and I try to advise customers the same way. Sometimes everybody wants to get everything in that first purchase. You're not buying your forever home, you're buying a home. You can always upgrade. You can either sell and upgrade, you can either rent it out and upgrade. So definitely buy, because in real estate, one thing that I heard and is always going to be true is buy young and hold. You can never go wrong. When you try to time the market, it's like timing the stock market. Nobody can ever get it right. You just get lucky. You don't get it right.
No, I totally agree. And you know, I had a couple who said to me, the most important thing for us is the kitchen. I got them a condo. I don't even think I've seen one since then. It was in Encino and it had the biggest kitchen I've ever seen. I think they somehow opened up a wall between the kitchen and living room, but I've never seen a space like that. They called me 3 years later and they said, we want to sell. We don't need such a big kitchen. And I'm like, oh, I heard you wrong. I thought you said you don't need such a big kitchen. And she goes, no, that's it. My husband discovered barbecues. We have a little balcony and we put in a barbecue. Then we found a barbecue downstairs in the building, and we don't use the kitchen anymore. And if you would have told me that 3 years ago when I drove you crazy that I wanted a big kitchen, I would have never believed it. So you really learn. It's like learning when you live with someone. It's the same thing. You learn what you want and what's not as important when you live in something. So if you don't own right now, they have amazing deals, amazing loans. I hear the 5% down is back.
Yep.
You should talk
Absolutely.
about it. I know that you're not doing that to plug yourself and plug the show, but people need to know. I said that to somebody. I said, if I was doing a $400,000 condo, I said, if you got this and this is what it was and this was your HOA and blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, we're paying more now. And I said, well, what are you waiting for? Oh, we didn't think you could get 5% down. People don't know. We have more
Right.
access to everything nowadays, and people seem to know less than they did before. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's true, and that's why education is key. And unfortunately, not everybody trusts in the right sources for the right information. So I agree with you 100%. Chuck, any final questions from you? Because I know this has obviously been an incredible session, so we've gone over, but
Oh,
it's been so
thank you.
fun. But any other final questions from you?
Honestly, I'm just surprised you guys didn't use the phrase "Don't wait to buy real estate and wait," because that's the one I use.
Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait, according to Chuck Dorfman.
Um,
Okay, so Anita, can I be candid with you?
Ah! Please.
You are absolutely my favorite person that we've had on the show so far. I think that
You can
it's
send me
been
a bill.
very, no, no, no. This has been very, very useful to the people watching. You've been sharing a lot of very valuable information. A lot of times we have people on here that are incredible speakers and it's fun, and we get some good tips, but you've really given some great ideas. I've even taken some ideas that I'm going to be using day to day. And so I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. It's been our pleasure. I want to thank everybody that is watching us either on Facebook or YouTube or will watch us later. We will be here again every Thursday at 2 o'clock. Anita, if there's anything that we can do for you in the future and giving back as well, then you know both Chuck and I are more than willing. So again, thank you very much for joining us today. Any final words?
Thank you for having me. And if you ever have a slot that there's no one to fill, I'm very spontaneous. Call me.
I
We
love
will
it.
take you up on that.
Thank you so much, Anita. Have a wonderful day. Mwah. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.